Hi. Once, I used to say things like, man, life is too short to hold on to all that emotional baggage of the hurts and the slights against us and all of that stuff. And one day, after my dad had died, I said that to my stepmom, and she said, no, honey, life's too long to hold on to all of that. I think that's one of the wisest things I've ever heard. But also, it helps us to understand that some of that old baggage, whether it's physical or emotional, tends to weigh us down and can cause us to not move forward and get to the place we want to be because we're still resting in the old stuff. So today we're going to talk about decluttering your life, both physically and emotionally. And while we do that, I'm probably going to show a little film of my studio because I'm in the process of completely purging my house. But first is my studio, my art studio. I have a ton of stuff and we need to purge it because I cannot take it with me when we move overseas. So I'll show you that little clip, and then we're going to talk about decluttering while I work in my art journal. We're going to talk about doing a drawing that is about decluttering. Grab your own journal, or if you don't have one, just a piece of paper, pencil, pen, whatever you have handy, and we'll talk about our emotional clutter while we draw it out. I just wanted to show you how, while I'm decluttering my life, both my inner life and my outer life, in hopes of being able to purge my entire household so that we can move one day, I'm also decluttering physically, not just inside. So I just wanted to show you my art studio and tell you what I have to shrink it down to. All right, so I'm going from all of this. Yes, it's messy right now because I'm purging. All of this, all my stuff, all of these things, my giant drawing rack, my painting station for messy painting, all of these canvases, all of the stuff here that's just lining this room, and all of my art will fit in here. That's a lot of shrinkage that needs to happen. We're planning on selling our house and moving abroad, and all that stuff is going to have to go. It's just going to have to go. Let's have a little sketch while we talk about decluttering. Okay, so welcome to my sketchbook to use just for art journaling. And this is the very first sketch I'm doing inside it with you all. And I invite you to come along with me to do this exercise too. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about decluttering by telling a little story of decluttering. So I'm going to start by drawing my rendition of one of those old steamer trunks, you know, the big trunks that had the big giant lids and you packed stuff in to travel with. I'm only packing my trunk with things that I want to hang on to. Let's get started. So any of the things I don't want to take with me, whether it be past resentments, whether it be physical objects, art supplies, anything I don't want to come with me is going to land out of the trunk over on this side. So first, I'm going to draw a trunk. And again, you don't have to be artistic. It does not have to be pretty. This is art journaling for your own mental health. So first, I'm going to just make the points of my trunk. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a 3D image. The front of my trunk has two little points, but they're kind of slanted downward. And I like to do this little dot connecting thing, and I'm going to put a dot right in the center, and then another one in the center of that, in order to draw the front of my trunk. And see, I wasn't perfect there either. Okay, so what am I going to pack? What about physical clutter? Clutter can trap us. Physical clutter can trap us in a place where we don't want to be. It makes me stressed out. It can make people become attached to things. Have you ever seen that show, Hoarders? I've only watched it a couple times because it really bothers me. When we attach too much emotional value to a physical object, it tends to become an anchor that weighs us down until we can't think about doing without it again. If I get rid of it, you know, the minute I get rid of this, I'm going to need it. That happens all the time. No, it really doesn't happen all the time. Those are the kind of things that clutter up our lives. I remember hearing a little proverb that said, a spider encourages clutter because then it's free to spin its webs in the little cluttered corners because you can't see it. So you're not cleaning those corners out because of all the clutter. And that's kind of what happens with both physical and emotional clutter in our own lives. So it traps, we attach too much emotional value to things rather than just thinking about them as people. We need to attach our emotional value to people and to memories, not to physical objects. So there are emotional attachments that can keep us anchored. For one thing, my husband and I are planning on moving abroad, probably to France, because that's been a lifelong dream and we've always wanted to do that. And we can't take all this with us. Physical clutter actually is preventing us from moving because you can't take everything with you. We need to let go of what no longer serves us. Some brushes that are sentimental to me, brushes like this fan brush. This was a brush that belonged to my grandmother, my Grandma Hackey, and there are several brushes that are old and some people would consider kind of worthless and raggedy, but these carry enough sentimental value and memories that I'm taking them with me. Plus, they take up a tiny little space, so I can make room for that kind of sentimental thing, but everything else must go. Okay, so what I'm leaving behind. Physically, I'm leaving all my furniture. And we'll just say, let's unpack the trunk and leave behind stuff. Maybe I'll turn my furniture into a couch because we're not taking any of that. I'm decluttering all of my art canvases. I'm not even taking any of my finished paintings with me. I don't think. I might ship one or two, but I don't know about that. Let's just say all of my art supplies, big art supplies. I'm not taking bookshelves. Along with that, most of my books are being purged. I'm only keeping the books that I can't easily get back over there. So all the big stuff physically is going over here. Now, what is some of the stuff I'm going to be letting go of that's emotional, that's been holding me back? Past hurts, past grudges. I don't want to take with me the anxiety that I've had. I've suffered with anxious thoughts all my life, but I don't want to take the anxiety that I've had of late. I had one person tell me once, you know, fear isn't really real, and we're going to talk about that in a future video because it hasn't happened yet. What you fear hasn't happened. It's imaginary. You're just being anxious and afraid because you're worried that it will happen. It's really an interesting concept that I'm fearing what hasn't happened. Now, a lot of fear and anxiety is happening right now in the United States where I live because of lots of the structures that we've known as Americans for a long time are being threatened. That can also cause fear and anxiety about what might be or what's actually happening now. I don't want to take those things with me. I don't want to pack those in my emotional trunk and take them with me. I will still have certainly fear or anxiety about my family that I'm leaving behind, that are still going to be living here. I don't want to take anxiety with me over things that might happen. What if we don't find a place to live? What if we hate it when we get there? What if people are mean? All of those anxieties are not real. They're in a fantasy world of things that have not happened yet. They're what we think might happen in the future, but they're not there yet. So I don't want to take that. I don't want to take emotional attachments to things with me. I want to take memories with me, and pleasant and sad and bad, depending. Sometimes I don't want to forget about bad things that have happened in my past because they formed who I am now. So I want to take memories, not stuff. I don't want to take bitterness. I don't want to take bitterness with me. We'll frame that. I don't want to take hurt. All those past hurts that we stack up. At the beginning of this video, I said something that my stepmom had said that I thought was one of the wisest things I'd ever heard, and that was my father had died just before COVID lockdowns began to happen, like 10 days before, and we drove halfway across the country to be with my stepmom. Another close family member refused to come I was simply making a reflection and saying, I feel like life's too short just to hang on to all that old stuff. My stepmom looked at me and said, no, honey, life is too long to hold on to all of that. And I thought, she's right. Why would I want to live the rest of my life? It could be, 40 more years. I'm an older Gen Xer, so I'm no spring chicken. I don't want to take regrets with me. I regret that I didn't go to college for fine arts, but instead I listened to the bullying of relatives who said, you'll never make it as an artist. You'll be poor the rest of your life. You need to get a real degree and a real job. So I got my undergraduate degree in psychology as an adult. I already had a daughter. And then later in life, I got my master's degree in English literature after I defected from the Master's of Psychology program. Whole other story. So I have 18 master hours in psychology and a full master's degree in English. I don't want to take the regret with me of not having gotten a fine art degree. I have in the past made mistakes with people. I have made mistakes in raising my daughter. I was 19 years old when I had her, and I was a very impatient person, and I just got frustrated a lot instead of just letting her be her little free fairy self. I don't want to regret how I might have made mistakes in those areas. I don't want to take that with me. I need to let it go. I don't want to live in those moments. I don't want to look back at those moments and sit there and ponder them until I feel as crappy as I did when they happened. I don't want to hold on to anxiety over things that might happen. I don't want to hang on to, let's go with, out of fear of failure. During this move, I'm taking my business with me. It is not fully up and running yet. Because I have years of experience in education and mental health and art, I'm combining that knowledge into coaching. So that coaching business is going to be the work visa that I apply for, and it's not even up and running yet. So I don't want this fear of failure to stop me from reaching my dream of living abroad. I don't want fear of failure to stop me from writing a clear and concise business plan. Procrastinating, that's another thing. I don't want to take with me procrastination. Procrastination itself is born out of fear. So it's an easy thing to fall back on and then put the blame on if you don't reach your goals and go for what you want. My last one is a big one for me. It's turned up in a lot of things. And that is fear that I'm too old to start over. One of the people I was coaching that was like, I know what I want to do with my life. I've always dreamt of doing this one thing, but it means going back to college. I've always dreamed of being an RN, a registered nurse, but I'm 45 years old and it's going to take me 5 years to get that RN degree and become an RN. And then I'll be 50. And I said, well, that's true. That's 5 years. You'll be 5 years older. But if you don't go back to school to achieve this dream, in 5 years, when you're 50, you're still going to be 5 years older, but you're not going to be any closer to the dream that you've always had. I don't want to fear that I'm too old to accomplish something. I am older Gen X. I don't want to have fear of being too old stop me from reaching my dreams. So that's all the things I don't want to pack in my trunk. What do I want to pack in my trunk? Sketching stuff. We're going physical right now. Art is a huge part of my life, and sketching and art journaling is becoming a more huge part of my life. And I want to make sure that I'm actually taking things with me that mean something. I'm going to take a few articles of clothing. I do have ADHD. Maybe I should try to leave, let's take focus with me. I've learned to focus. I have an ability to focus. And I've learned to use art to help me to focus. But sometimes I go off on those little tributaries and forget what I'm focusing on, which is what I'm taking with me. I want to take my pets. I'm not going to put my pets in the trunk, but for this exercise, my pets are coming with me in my imaginary steamer trunk. As far as emotionally, I want to take my feeling of still having a lot of life left in me. That is combined with physical health. We're going to do a discussion of the mind-body connection at some point too, because our mental health and our physical health are very closely tied together. So I've been exercising. I've been doing this 100 squats challenge, which is getting in 100 squats a day to build the muscles in my legs and to take the pressure off my joints. Because when you hit a certain age, you tend to start getting arthritic in some of your joints, like your ankles and your knees and your hips. I am building my physical health by exercising, and I'm doing other stuff too, including building my upper body and my abdominals and my core. I'm also eating properly. So physical health is very important. I want to take my mental health with me. I've always been optimistic, so I want to keep that optimism, both for the new life that we're entering into and for the people that we've left behind. I'm optimistic. I've got a lot of this stuff coming with me. That's a good start. I think we'll leave it there. Try to do this exercise for yourself and decide what you're going to pack in your trunk and what you don't want to take forward with you into your future. It doesn't mean that you're moving somewhere. It just means these are the things I need to let go of and want to let go of, both physical stuff, reducing physical clutter, and emotional clutter. And I'm going to do just a quick little, add a little quick color. So while I finish this exercise, I just want to talk about if and when you do this exercise, what kind of emotional things are you going to be decluttering from your life? What physical things would you like to declutter from your life? None of this means that you're moving somewhere else or anything like that. You're just removing some of the obstacles from your life that are keeping you from stepping into your future in a much cleaner and healthier way. So I hope you really enjoyed this exercise. I hope you went along with me, and I would love it if you hit the like button and the subscribe button and keep coming along with me as we learn to redraw our lives.